What's good, my boys? Splashy here. In today's video, we will be doing a small forward tier list. Obviously, you see the tiers back to kind of regular. They're not S, A, B, C, D, but they like best, good, mid, trash. Just because small forward is a really easy position to rank. Probably with all the primary ball handlers being good at the shooting guard position, it's really easy to grade and tell you who's good and who's trash at small forward because you're not really expecting much out of the small forward position anyways. So that's just that. So you feel me? Let's get into it. First, we got Bill Russell. Every single Hall of Fame defensive badge. The shot that if y'all shot with the All-Star Jokic, I'm pretty sure y'all are very fond of it. I wouldn't really use him to try to create a bucket, but I do think just because he gets every single Hall of Fame D badge on the game, I do think he goes in best probably as a first timer. Just because he plays defense at a high level, he spots up at a high level, and I think in the best lineup possible, I think you can put him along with 3 or 4 other small forwards, and I think he'll be just fine. Next, we got Danny Ferry. Danny Ferry will also be going in best just because I believe he has the best jump shot at the small forward position out of every single person. For y'all who want to know, do I think he's better than Elvis Presley or Purvis Elston, whatever y'all call that man's name? I think Elvis Presley is better than him just because he has better defense, but I think Ferry's most likely the better offensive option just because his shot is faster. Next, we got Danny Granger. Danny Granger goes into trash just because, I put Danny Granger in mid. Basically got, it's just really not much to expect out of him. I just think he's a very tall player. I wouldn't really run him at the small forward position. I think he got better even budget options that you should be most likely happy running. Next, we got Danny Manning. I'm actually not a fan of the Danny Manning card just because, I'm not going to be me. I'm not a fan of the Danny Manning card just because of the Magic Johnson jump shot. You feel me? Just because of the Magic Johnson jump shot, I believe that jump shot isn't really that successful, but I believe just because he's in bracket busters and he's a little more recent, I think he'll be more of a mid-tier card. I think if you run him, you're not putting yourself at too much of a disadvantage, but I think you're still good. Next, we got Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman also goes in the mid. Three-pointer could be a little bit higher. He is probably supposed to be the next best defender after Bill Russell, how many defensive badges they gave him. But we also are playing 2K23, so how many stops are we really getting, fellas? The good thing about the small forward position is you're expecting one thing, right? You're either expecting your small forward position to guard the opposing ball handler, or you're expecting them to guard Ben Simmons. 2, you're expecting them to run your offense, as in like a Tim Thomas, a Danny Ferry, etc., etc., etc. You feel me? So that's that. Next, we got Draymond Green. I think Draymond Green's card is good, especially with the fact that he can also play PG. I think he gives you everything he wants. And also, as we go further into the year, cards that come out at a later date are obviously going to be better. You feel me? His D badges are nice. He gets limitless. I think the only flaw is his shot. I think his shot is really trash, and I think it's up there with Dennis Rodman and Danny Manning's. But Draymond Green played for the Warriors, and I'm a Warriors fan, so obviously he's in good. You don't need no more questions of that. Next, we got Giannis. I know y'all going to be mad at this, but listen, Giannis's card is just going to go in good just because it's Giannis. You can still run the fire Giannis and you'll still just be fine. It's Giannis. Giannis will always be able to guard ball, slash at a high level, rebound at a high level. You can't really run the ball with him, but you can put him in pick and roll situations and he'll score almost every single time. You feel me? So since you're allowed to do that with Giannis, I'm just going to make sure Giannis is there. Giannis's all-star card obviously goes in the best just because, a lot of people don't really run Giannis anymore just because, we're getting better options than Bill Russell and this and that. Once again, I'd like to point out his only flaw this entire year has been the fact that his jump shot makes him step in on the three-point line. He has no other flaw on the court besides that. Especially his all-star version with the fact you can give him limitless. So then in those situations where he would step in, you can go spot him up on the wing and he'll make sure he showcases his skill. Giannis just does everything on the court. And I think out of every card that comes out this year, I think him and LeBron do it at the highest level. You would say if his cards that I believe have hidden tendencies just to perform at a high level, I think it's just him and Bron. Obviously Steph. I don't know if y'all play with Steph. Steph feel like he shoot further from the 3-point line than everybody else on the game, and I think that's just something that's only good for Steph. Next, we got Grant Hill. I think Grant Hill goes into good. I think Grant Hill is probably the best spot up on the game. like just spot up. Not saying 3 and D wise. I think Bill Russell's a better 3 and D than him, but I think Grant Hill's the best spot up. I think out of all like the topish small forwards that you would spot up, as in him, Jonathan Isaac, Rudy Gay, etc. I think he has the best jump shot out of all of them. His only flaw is the fact he's 500K. I also think they shouldn't have gave him Pro 3 laner. I think they should have just gave him normal the way they're throwing it on everybody else and their mothers, but they chose not to do it. I do think Grant Hill's a good card. I actually run him at the 2 before I run him at the 3, but it's cool. Next we got Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum's card is just mid. The real reason Jason Tatum's card is really just mid is because they refuse to change his fade. I believe he has one of the best off-ball shots, though. Like, if somebody's off-balling you, you want to shoot over the top, I think he will successfully do it. I think they also disrespected him with the D badges they gave him. I think they could have gave him a little bit more D badges, but sorry, Celtics fans. They just weren't that grateful to Jason Tatum. Doesn't mean he's a bad card. I think he's just like more mid-tier. I wouldn't really run him at the 3 over the people above him. Next, we got Jonathan Isaac. Jonathan Isaac also goes into good. I don't think he's best because outside of guarding the ball and shooting wide open, also I don't like his jumper. I don't think he brings enough to the table. Like, as in like a Giannis. Giannis is going to out-rebound the center. Giannis is going to probably get 20 if you give him the ball every play. Jonathan Isaac, if Jonathan Isaac is not guarding the ball at the highest level, I do not believe he is successful on the court. Even at a Bill Russell, right? Bill Russell, you can at least try to run the ball with him if everything dies down. I don't think you can score with Jonathan Isaac on anybody. I think Jonathan Isaac is just an amazing defender. Therefore, I'll have him in good. Josh Smith is trash just because they still haven't changed that Brook Lopez shot. It is what it is. Until he gets his shot changed to either what he had last year or just something that's at least, deal withable, I'm not a fan of him, and that's just how it is. Next, we got Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard also goes into trash. A little outdated. I think the only person from that Eclipse set that actually still matters is Yao God. But after that, I just think they did Kawhi bogus because Jimmy Fredette has a higher block than him, and that was the problem when the Kawhi card came. On top of the fact that since the mocap happened, Kawhi Leonard no longer has the jump shot that had him being as good as he was. So, since that is how it is, I'm not really a fan of the Kawhi Leonard card. Next, we got KD. KD also goes in the mid. I think they can make his card better. It's just his jump shot this year is really bad. If they don't change his fade, I know for you guys who do run Kevin Durant, I know you think it's like, signature to who he is. That fade is really trash. I'm really not a fan of it. And I just think out of all the small forward options, I think somebody would be way happier running like a Rudy Gay than a Kevin Durant. I know it sounds stupid. It's just how it is. I know it sounds stupid. For those who like running, real life cards, I think Jay Tatum and Kevin Durant obviously can't be ran. No, I just don't think they're top at their position. I think this small forward is more of a position where it's like power forward. You can throw almost anybody there nowadays just because as long as they have half clamps and half limitless or goal limitless, they technically can do what they're supposed to do at the small forward position. So now, next is about who's going to do that at the highest level. Next, we got Lamar Odom. Lamar Odom is also trash. Jumper's trash. No limitless. It's like they tried to make a 6'10 Tim Thomas, and they failed miserably. That's basically what happened. Next, we got the King. I think the King goes in the best. Like I said, I think him and Giannis are the only 2 players on the game that have hidden tendencies. Also, while guarding the ball at the highest level, I believe you can run your offense with LeBron James, especially if you're a 5-out connoisseur. Other than that, they changed the shot to Kyle Korver. I'm not too much of a fan of the little Kyle Korver stuff, but I mean, it's good. You feel me? It's good. I think they should have kept his old shot, though, but LeBron is an amazing card. Probably Slash is the best on the game next to Ben Simmons and Giannis. Can guard ball, can shoot from half court, and give him every half. I don't know. That's probably why he's still going 400K. Next, we got Michael Porter Jr. I think Michael Porter Jr. is just mid. His jump shot, since it hasn't been changed yet, I think it's just a mid-tier jump shot. They basically tried to make him budget KD, gave him all the KD 6, did this, did that. They basically tried to make him budget KD. I got no problem with that, but I'm not really a fan of Michael Porter Jr. Next, we got Bantam. If you were lucky enough to get Bantam, I will call you words that most likely would be TOS on YouTube. So, we're just going to call you lucky. Bantam also goes in the best. I think Bantam can run the ball at the highest level. As I've tested it out on other accounts, I think he can guard ball at the highest level while also scoring at the highest level. And that's basically what separates the people from good to best. Best, besides I think Bill Russell, who I also think can run the ball but not at the highest level. He has every single Hall of Fame defensive badge on the game. There's no chance he should get scored on. Mike Bantam, I think, can run the ball at the highest level and guard ball at the highest level. I think he brings everything you want to the small forward position. Also, after Grant Hill, I think he has the best shot besides Danny Ferry. But Danny Ferry's not really considered a spot up. Danny Ferry's probably the only person on this list who you'd really make your primary. Next, we got Nicholas Batum. Just because DBG likes him, I'm going to put him in trash. Nothing more to be said. We're not even going to talk about how good the card is or anything of that nature. Just because DBG likes him, he goes in the trash. Yes, sir. Siakam goes in the mid. Siakam's like a decent small forward. Like, you know, he can play defense. His jump shot really isn't that bad if you learn how to time it. I just think it's just Siakam. I think it's really hard to make him a good card on this game with that shot he has. Next, we got Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay goes into good. I think Rudy Gay, Jonathan Isaac, and Grant Hill are all the exact same player with different names and a different jump shot. I think they all bring the exact same thing to the table, except Rudy Gay is a little bit better offensively than Jonathan Isaac because his shot's better but worse defensively. He's way worse defensively than Grant Hill, but Grant Hill has a better shot than Rudy Gay has a better chance of scoring. Feel me? Hard to get it out, but that's basically what it is at the small forward position. So we got Paul George. Paul George also goes in the mid. Nothing really, you know, too much. I think until they change his shot, he'll also be down there with KD. Like, they got to change his shot. I think he does have one of the best escapes on the game if you know what you're doing. But until they change his shot, I don't think he's bringing too much to the table. And I just think he'd be a lot more viable at the shooting guard position this year, but not in that stupid alternate reality thing that they dropped. Next, we got Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley is probably the last person who'll be going in best. Elvis Presley is like Danny Ferry's opposite. Like, I think he's amazing defensively. You shouldn't run the ball with him, but I think he can run the ball at the highest level, and he also can guard ball at the highest level. I think he will remind a lot of people of, like, Ricky Davis. Like, I know a lot of people like Ricky Davis, so I think he basically just reminds you of Ricky Davis, but updated in 6'9". You feel me? You're not going to get him, even if you play triple threat offline. Make sure y'all drop below how many games y'all have played for Danny Ferry and Elvis Presley. Yes, I'm going to keep calling him Elvis Presley instead of Purvis Elizabeth. But make sure y'all drop how many games y'all done play for both of them. If you did get them, make sure you go buy a lottery ticket. But for those who haven't got them, you know, because there's so many of us, drop how many games you've played for Purvis and Danny Ferry. Next, we got Zion Williamson. Honestly, the funniest thing is Zion is closer to being in good than Paul George, KD, and Jason Tatum, because Zion's really not that bad. He is just really little in game, but the O'Shea shot, I think they messed up with his upper, but the O'Shea shot is obviously what everybody likes. I do think he can guard ball. I wouldn't say at the highest level just because his build is so small, but I do think like he can guard ball. I'll put him at the tippity top of mid, basically good. And lastly, we got Tim Thomas. Tim Thomas goes into good. Tim Thomas is not what he used to be. The LaMelo Ball shot on 3 out of 4 is no longer as good as it was back when, you know, Tim Thomas was annihilating everybody. The cards defensively are just too good now for Tim Thomas to really rain hell the way he should. Like, when he has Bill Russell on him, it's not the same as when he used to have, you know, small forward Giannis on him. Or fire Giannis on him. Or Diamond Jonathan Isaac, etc. Tim Thomas is low-key falling. I do still think as a primary ball handler, if you know what you're doing, he can still provide you with everything you need him to do at the highest level. But I wouldn't say he's really in best anymore. I think he's like the tippity top of good, especially with the fact that, you know, you can't upgrade any of his badges. He comes capped out on basically mostly everything. So that's that. That's the small forward tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Stop by the Twitch, Splashy. Let me know what it is there. Stop by the Twitter, Splash Edition. Turn on notifications, DM me with any questions. I love every single one of y'all. Make sure you have a blessed day. I'm out. Peace.